boy, do we have a lot of stuff to get into in this video here today, guys. There's a lot going on in the market. There's a lot transpiring. I have some bad news to share with you guys here today. I got some good news to share with you guys here today. As with many days in the market, there's always some bad stuff that comes out and some good stuff. And I try to be balanced on the channel and not try to give you, only good news that's going on. And I try not to give you only bad news that's going on. I try to be balanced. And if there's bad stuff I got to share with you, I'm going to share it with you. And if there's good stuff I got to share with you, I'm going to share that with you as well. Okay, so I hope you guys appreciate this. I appreciate you joining me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And, what is this? Jeremy worth $160 million? That's a bunch of baloney. That's all I got to say about that. You think I would be out here recording YouTube videos if I was worth 160 flipping flapjacking dollars? Heck no. Come on, man. You got to be crazy. All right, guys, let's get into this. So, first off, obviously the market today, a down day for the market. Dow's down around 600 points roughly is where it closed out at. European markets got trashed last night. DAX down almost 4%. CAC down about 4%. Just, that's rough. When you start seeing indexes down about 4%, it's rough, okay? Oil, oh boy, okay? Oil does not want to stop. Energy prices are going up. This is no bueno at all, okay? U.S. oil jumps to a 7-year high. WTI has just gone insane. 8.8% move here. Nat gas up big time, and obviously Brent, which is more important for the European market, that's up massively as well. So oil's going absolute crazy. What are we looking at as far as pricing goes on oil on a historical basis? Well, this is nothing short of historic. Look at this, okay? So, last time we were trading here, you got to pretty much go back to 2014. We eclipsed prices like this for just a very short amount of time. Around 2011-ish, 2010-ish, we eclipsed prices just for a moment here. And other than that, last time we were this high on pricing, you got to pretty much go back to right around 2008, all right? So, this is not good. It's not good when you got crude going crazy like this, because this makes... this is a tax. This is basically just one giant tax on Americans and taxes on people worldwide, because most people, they have to fuel up their cars to transport anywhere, right? To drive to work or to drive to the food store or to go anywhere, right? Transportation is the key to the entire economy. How do you think all these goods get to you at the end of the day? They all get transported on big trucks, right? And so at the end of the day, this is just a one gigantic tax on everybody. When oil goes up like crazy, gas prices go up like crazy, and all fuel prices in general go up like crazy, and you're just stuck in a situation that it's a gigantic tax that is sucking money out of everybody's pocket, right? Now, if you look back throughout time, basically, and I don't know how much people really track like oil price in the past, but I think these things are important to look at. We had 20 plus years, like decades, where essentially oil was in the $10 to $30 range. This basically transpired anywhere from the 80s all the way through about 2004, 2005. Then after that, oil started going insane after that period of time, and obviously we peaked out in 2008 and then came down massively in the Great Recession, came back really strong. Then there was the fracking boom. We, basically went way over what we should have done production-wise. That made oil prices go insanely low for quite a while. And now oil prices have gone, come back very, very strong. And I can tell you right now is a great time if you want to look into maybe, getting some land and fracking some oil right now. Holy smokers, that ain't no joke. It's, there's a lot of money to be made. If you can frack oil successfully, oh boy. In the United States, for instance, your break even on a barrel of oil, if you're fracking, is likely around anywhere from $50 to $60, depending upon where you're fracking at. So if you start talking about $100+ oil, woo, there's a lot of money in that game right now. Now, to give you some reference, in the Middle East, their break even a lot of times is like $10 a barrel, somewhere around there roughly. So you want to really talk about money, making money. The Middle East is making crazy money right now. And basically anybody that sells oil, explores for oil, when we start talking about $100 plus barrels of oil, there's so much money to be made in that market. How sustainable that is a big question, right? And that's why I'm not out there flooding money into oil and gas stocks or anything like that, because we know these periods don't last very long. You get these little moments in time where oil prices spike up, and maybe it happens for 3 to 12 months. And then next thing you know, it comes down massively because guess what? Everybody wants to start producing more and more. No one wants to lose market share. And next thing you know, you go way too far to the other side and oil prices end up coming down. So you get these pockets of time, let's call it that, where oil can go crazy for a 3 to 12 month span. And then it's just unsustainable for it to, continue to go up and up and up like crazy because everybody wants to make money. We're in a capitalistic world. And if there's a ton of money to be made, guess what? Next thing you know, everybody's going to want to be, producing as much oil as they possibly can because they can make so much dang money from it, right? Now, if we look at gas prices are going just beast mode all across the United States of America and across the world right now. But specifically across the United States of America. And like I said, the way to look at this is just a giant tax on consumers. And I don't see, as far as the oil prices go, gasoline prices go, it's not going to slow down anytime soon. Even if oil price slows down a bit, gas prices are likely going to continue to go up for at least the next several weeks, if not several months. And remember, usually how it works is oil prices go up as you go closer and closer to summertime. So this is more food for thought that, we could have a period here where oil prices are high for a while. Now, I used to work at Quick Trip, right? There's obviously a massively successful gas station and convenience store company, right? And at Quick Trip, we actually had a division at the corporate office that basically would trade futures for oil. And basically how it would work is if the traders played it correctly, we could make so much money. It was insane if you could hedge properly in these situations. And when you're talking about just making an extra 5, 10 cents, 15 cents a gallon, oh my gosh, that's a game changer for you as a gas station company. I mean, you the profitability of your business model goes ridiculous when you're talking about you're selling millions and millions and millions of gallons of gas on a daily basis, right? And so I remember, there was something like if I stayed at Quick Trip and I didn't, go full time in the stock market and whatnot and becoming an entrepreneur, like I was thinking about doing that. I didn't really want to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma though, but I was thinking, man, it'd be fun to go work at that division at Quick Trip. Now, if we go ahead and we look at the watch list today, you got some green out there actually. With the indexes being very, very red, let's call it Red Dead Redemption, I actually got a decent amount of green on the watch list. Voyager's up over 5% here today. We're going to talk about that one in just a moment. Maxar Technologies, which this one is very attractive trading play right now. A lot of traders are in Maxar. And this one could continue to be a trader play for a while. And the reason is Maxar Technology is giving great satellite images of basically kind of what's going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation. And their imaging technology is getting branded out there massively right now. And it's going from kind of a company a lot of people have never even heard of to all of a sudden everybody's getting to see this. I mean, you're seeing the images on CNN and everywhere that's a major news publication like we've never really seen before. So that's a really popular trader play right now. How long it lasts, that's a big question, but I can tell you it's everybody wants in that one right now. Palantir up 3% here today. Avant Brands up 3% here today. Tattooed Chef, another strong day. Tattooed Chef bottomed in the 10s it was probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. And that was just continues to show strength. Another 3% upward move here today, 12.54. Beyond Meat with another good bounce back day. Alibaba's up today. Oatly's up today. Sam up today. Stitch Fix up today. So there's some green out there, but there's a lot of red. Okay, first off, GoodRx. I'm going to have to see what the heck happened with GoodRx. It's not a stock I own, but it is a stock I track. And my gosh, like almost a 40% downward move for GoodRx today. So I'm going to have to see what the heck happened there. Foot Locker giving it back some of the gains. Here's the thing, right? If you're talking about gas prices going up massively, the assumption from Wall Street is these companies might make less money. The way Wall Street looks at it is, hey, are as many people going to be able to go buy the new Jordans if, they're being taxed at the pump, at $4 plus a gallon every time they go to pump gas, right? It's the way some people think. Smile Direct Club reported earnings. There were a lot of misses across the board. This is what I think Smile Direct Club's a good lesson of just kind of these beaten down dog stocks and how it's so hard to get them to beat down. They missed pretty much everything I saw as far as their numbers went. And look at the stock. It's only down 6% on a very red day. It's hard to get sellers in some of these stocks now. Nordstrom, we're going to talk about that one in just a moment here. Wind down over 5%. Why is wind down over 5%? Well, if gas prices go up massively, the thought is, maybe not as many people are going to drive to the Vegas locations from California and whatnot. And maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but it is a thought process. Maybe not as many people will drive from, Utah or Arizona to the Vegas locations. I don't know. We'll see about that, but that's the way it's thought. Think about fuel prices for airlines. Think about just, transportation. You got to get to their properties. That's the thing. If you're going to go to the Wynn, you got to get to their properties. And if you're going to get to their properties, you got to use a fuel of some kind. Uber got hit hard today, another 5% downward move for Uber today. Guess what? It's another one that, somebody's taking that hit. It's not going to be likely Uber or the drivers in that situation. It's going to end up being, those costs will end up being passed on to the consumer at the end of the day. And so it's a thought that maybe less Uber rides. And I'm not saying these are right or wrong. It's just the way Wall Street thinks. Planet, obviously, where's their main location? It's Vegas. And so the way Wall Street looks at this, and there's not a lot of Wall Street money in Planet, but there's a little bit. The way they think about this is, oh boy, all this transportation costs go up. Maybe not as many people are going to Vegas, which hurts the Planet location. Their other main location is obviously in Orange County. So, and then their third location they have open right now is also in Vegas. So, that's just how people think, right? If transportation costs go up massively, maybe not as many people go to these sorts of markets. PayPal got hit 4% here today. Purple, it was very, very attractive right now. I will say that. Purple in the 5s is very, very attractive. So that one got hit as well. Skyworks got hit a bit. Apple's not going to sell, or at least from my understanding, is not going to sell products into Russia for the foreseeable future. So that hits their numbers, at least in some context. I'm going to have to look up to see how much that will actually hurt their numbers there. As far as VIX, this is very interesting. VIX has gone insane. VIX is up 108% in the past 6 months. VIX basically is a volatility index and how crazy the market is at a given time, trading activity and whatnot. And the interesting thing is you would think the market would have crashed given in this type of VIX situation, but it's not. Market's down, but it's not like it's gotten killed, which is very surprising, to see the VIX this high without the markets being completely devastated. So, we'll see kind of what happens with VIX. It's just a very, very strange, I would call it, market right now where there's so much fear, yet prices aren't down as much as you would think when you would consider the VIX is up 108% and we're trading at a 34. Usually the VIX, you should expect that to be in a 10 to 20 range. So when you're talking about today at a 34, oh my gosh, I mean, that's you're way up there. This is the last 6 month chart. We're the highest we've been at any point in the past 6 months when it comes to the VIX, right? Why is this? Well, it's because of this wall of worry, which I've been talking about, right? Which is filled with inflation, the Fed, and how many times they're going to raise rates, and valuations, and GDP growth, and how retail got destroyed in the market. And obviously the Russia situation is front and center right now. We all know that. Look at this. So a friend sent me this. B-Man sent me this. Fed's Bostic says the U.S. is hard-pressed, quote, hard-pressed, to get inflation below 3% for this year. I can tell you, it's going to be difficult. I expect inflation rate to slow massively starting in exactly 2 months. But with the rate of growth of inflation, me expecting that to slow in 2 months from now, it's still not going to be easy to get to 3% or below 3% for the year. And the reason being is we just talked about oil prices going insane, right? I mean, this is a tough situation. When you got oil trading the highest it has in, many, many years, that's something else that hurts the CPI at the end of the day. And so, you're in this type of situation where it's like, oh man, if transportation costs go up massively, we can still slow the rate of increase in inflation, in my opinion, starting in 2 months from now. But to get below 3% is going to be a dang challenge. And so this is something, if you think about it, this is something that scares the market. Because when you see something like this, the market thinks, oh my gosh, that means they're going to raise 7 to 9 times this year, which we know Wall Street's anywhere between 5 rate hikes and 9 rate hikes. Almost every single big investment bank I've seen out there, or bank in general, that has projections on how many rate hikes are going to happen this year, almost everybody I've seen has between 5 and 9. So if you see something like this, a lot of them are going to be thinking, oh man, they're probably going to go high side on this, maybe 7 to 9. And, that's just the type of situation. Now, we'll see what happens with that, but I think it's going to be difficult to get to below 3% for this year. I'll just put it that way. I think that's going to be really, really difficult. And we'll see, okay? Now, look at something like this. This is Voyager Digital, and this is another thing that B-Man sent me here, okay? So Voyager Digital is interesting, and he was pointing out how there's just such low trading activity in some of these smaller cap stocks, which Voyager Digital is one of the most popular crypto brokerages out there. And if you go onto your iOS app store, Voyager is usually one of the top 50 apps in the entire finance category. and very consistently in the top 100, but a lot of times it's even in the top 50. And I've even seen it sometimes in the top 20, which is crazy because it's a very small market cap. It's like a little over $1 billion. But what he was saying is, man, once we actually get some real volume coming into these stocks, they're ready to make some ridiculous moves. And I'm completely of agreement with that whenever we start actually getting some real money coming into these small caps, they're going to go on some of the biggest runs we've ever seen, in my opinion. It's just a question of like, when does that happen? Is it a month from now? Is it 3 months from now? Is it 6 months from now? Is it 12 months from now? That's the tough part, is trying to guess when that happens. But the thing is with these stocks, they've just pretty much run out of sellers. And you see something like Voyager move up today on just hardly any trading volume. I mean, imagine if there was some real buying pressure that came into Voyager. My gosh, imagine how fast the stock would fly to 12, to 15, to 20, to 30. It'd be ridiculous because, there's just the people that are still in the stock are just ultimately holders, and it's so hard to find sellers for these type of stocks. And if you could just get some real buying pressure coming in, the moves would be insane for these stocks. You look at something like the Chef. I think the Chef's another great example of this, Tattooed Chef, a stock that I obviously own, right? This is right before the end of the trading day. There's only 555,000 shares have traded so far today. And we only got a little bit left here in the market before it closes, a few minutes. Average volume is 900,000 plus. And the Chef makes a 3+% upward move here today on a day when the markets are all Red Dead Redemption. And the reason is it's so hard to find sellers. And I mean, imagine if there was some real buying pressure. Obviously, there's always going to be some buying pressure in stocks that have, exciting long-term business models like Voyager, like Tattooed Chef, right? But the buying pressure we're seeing is small buying pressure, very small buying pressure. Imagine when the market actually turns and the fund managers and all this money that's gone to the sideline, it says, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start plowing some money. I'm feeling a little more confident. Imagine as the wall of worry starts to get destroyed brick by brick over the next 6 to 12 months. Hey, let me start deploying some money in the smalls and mids because those are the ones that will take us out of this market fastest. There was something I posted on in the Discord chat and breadcrumbs tab inside the private group last night. And basically, I looked at the indexes. In the 1 month for the S&P 500, Dow, and NASDAQ, as of last night, those indexes were all down 3% plus in the past 1 month. Meanwhile, the Russell was up 1% in the past month, which is crazy outperformance for the Russell over the past month. That's just not something you usually see, essentially, okay? And a 4% flip there is crazy. And usually in a downtrending market, you would expect the Russell to be down more than the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So the fact that the Russell's outperforming is just like mind-blowing to a lot of folks out there. But that could be a showing of a bottoming out process in the market, essentially. Because the one that leads you there is usually small caps, and the one that gets you out and usually shows you a little sign of like, hey, we're going to come out of this, is usually the Russell as well, the small cap stock. So yeah, Tattooed Chef being up big on a day like today, I think is a very good sign. And I mean, imagine when actual real buying pressure comes into this stock. Oh my gosh, okay? Will that be ready to fly? I always have to look at the message boards. This is too good, okay? Market down bigly, but Chef is up. And this person says, I sold off my position on Monday, so this makes perfect sense. Oh, man, sometimes it's like that. Man. It's happened to me before, too. I got out of stock, and next thing you know, all of a sudden, a few days later, the stock goes up 10, 20% or whatever. And I'm like, seriously, I sold out. An update on the VT versus Jeremy small caps, between myself and my friend Belly here. It started on February 14th. So VT's having a tough time, obviously, down almost 4% as of right now, right? But I think it's really interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting thing to track over the next couple of years. So if we look here, there's certain stocks that are massively outperforming VT. Tattooed Chef is one of those. Honest is one of those. And Corsair is one of those stocks that's, massively outperforming. But on the flip side, you have some stocks that are massively underperforming VT as well, right? Which is a Planet, which is a smaller cap stock, right? You obviously have STC, which is a smaller cap stock, a much more risky play. Avant Brands, which is obviously, straight up penny stock, like it's 23 cents. And then Oatly, obviously, significantly underperforming VT as well. So I think it's interesting kind of looking at these from a context of, like what's outperforming, what's underperforming. And I think, if you looked at this, you would say the highest quality here is Tattooed Chef, Honest, and Corsair by far. Smile Direct Club, we call that one oh man, I don't want to call it a lottery ticket stock, but that's just one of those that has high risk, high reward there, where it's like it's either going to be bankrupt in a couple of years, or that stock's going to be, an $8, $10, $12 stock, and it's going to be a crazy moneymaker. When it comes to Planet, I don't look at this one as a dangerous play, but at the end of the day, it's not on major indexes, so that kind of hurts the Planet in the short term here. So now, I got some other things I want to cover in this video as well. I just want to let you guys know, I don't know if anybody knows this, but essentially we started an email newsletter for the Hungry Bowl, which is, basically we have an app that we put out the daily newsletter on. But if you want to just send to your email each day, it's absolutely free. You can just subscribe. That's actually linked in the description. Also, by the way, the VT competition is linked in the description. I have it linked in every single video. So if you want to track that over time, it's just very easy to do that, okay? Now, in the short term in this market, we're very, very dependent upon this Russia situation. I posted this. We have a Russia-Ukraine chat now inside the private group because so many people obviously want to talk about that right now. And so I posted this in there last night. There's a 40-mile long convoy, by the way. This is taken by Maxar Technologies, this photo here, of Russian military going toward Kyiv. This is what's shaking up the markets, and everybody's looking at this and they're like, oh my gosh, a 40-mile long convoy. What is about to happen in Ukraine? Is this about to take a much worse turn, than we've seen out there? And it's something to be concerned with, obviously, in this whole situation. And it's something that continues to make the energy markets continue to rise. And as long as there's this going on, and this is one of those situations where you get a little bit of good news, but then you get bad news. And that's what we've consistently seen with this Russia situation since it really started to break the news over the past month and a half, is you get one day where there's some good news that comes out and it's like, ooh, things are looking a little better. And then the next day it's bad news, right? I would count this as very, very bad news. A 40-mile long convoy of Russian military going toward Kyiv. Not a good situation. And so this is just another thing that just continues to shake up the market over and over again. And that's bad news. There's no other way of putting it other than that is bad news. That's bad news for humanity. That's bad news for the stock market. That's bad news for energy prices, because energy prices are going to keep going up when you see stuff like this. That's just how it is at the end of the day. Now, some good news is Nordstrom. Oh man, oh, this one frustrates me. I should have been buying this one heavy today. The setup was so beautiful going into these earnings. Nordstrom reported better than expected profits and sales for the holiday quarter, prompting the retailer to offer an optimistic outlook for the coming year. Importantly, the retailer called out improvements in its off-price business, Nordstrom Rack, amid a report the company had been renewing a potential spinoff of Rack. For fiscal 2022, Nordstrom sees revenues up 5 to 7% compared to 2021 levels, which is great news because, a lot of folks thought, stimulus must have been the only thing that helped out retailers or something like that. And if you know anything about Nordstrom, right, that's not like a stimulus type of place. Let's just put it that way, okay? Nordstrom, the fact that they're expecting growth stronger than what Wall Street's expecting, it's great news. Great news. That's something you like to see. And like I said, when it comes to Nordstrom main stores, they cater to, I would call it the upper middle class or even the wealthy. But their Nordstrom Rack, that really caters to the middle class. And so I think that's a really good tell on the market and how things are looking. So I really like this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually come into the upper ranges. Believe it or not, I think, as crazy as this sounds, I think they lowballed numbers. As crazy as it sounds, I know that's ridiculous to even think about because they came in with almost a double up. This midpoint 6% versus 3.7 is almost a double up there, right? I think they lowballed it. I think I think they're going to absolutely blow those numbers even away. Target also reported very good earnings per share. Revenue came in with just a slight miss, but EPS came in with a big beat there. So Target's just the most well-run retailer out there, in my opinion, and just continues to put up great numbers. So if you'd like to see that, and also Target just announced they're upping their minimum wage to like $24 an hour. Dude, I'm thinking about going to get a job at Target. Just push around some carts late at night or something like that. Man, oh man, $24 an hour. You got to be flipping my flapjacks. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when I was 18 years old making $7.50 an hour. $24 an hour to go bring in the carts, to go play register. Oh my gosh, okay. Jeez, that's some money there. But Nordstrom, this one, so I own Nordstrom stock, but it frustrates me because I looked at this one today and I was like, put 100K in Nordstrom today. Put 100K in Nordstrom. I knew the earnings were coming and the setup was so beautiful, but I didn't do it. And I didn't do it. The main reason is because I'm trying to keep extra capital around because Tattooed Chef still has to report, Honest still has to report. I need to see what happens with stocks like that. Planet still has to report. And so in case any big downward moves happen there, I got to be ready for that to buy, right? And Tattooed Chef last quarter, they had postponed their quarterly numbers. So I got to be ready for whatever when it comes to those companies, right? So I got to keep some capital around, but it hurts me, man, because I wanted to throw 6 figures in this one today because the setup was beautiful. Nordstrom's a great quality company, like a beast, okay? The stock's been absolutely devastated the past few months. It's, when you talk about Nordstrom under 20, that's just a joke. And every time, and I know that, some people laugh at me for this, like, oh, you go to the mall and you see it's busy, so it's, and I know people laugh at me, and it's whatever, okay? But at the end of the day, I went to the mall during Christmas time, Nordstrom was packed. I went to the mall recently, and I tell you, Nordstrom was busier than I've ever seen Nordstrom in my life. In my life, okay? I've never seen it that insane ever, and that's even during Christmas time periods. And so I was looking at it, and I'm like, dude, every time I ever go to these Nordstrom stores, it's crazy packed. Nordstrom Rack's a whole other level of packed. And the stock's beaten down like, they're going to report horrible numbers. And I'm like, I just don't see that happening. The setup was beautiful going in these earnings. And, as I say, you snooze, you lose. It is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, let me know what you think about these markets. Also, if you're looking for some free stocks, it's basically like getting free money. Sign up for Moo. Use my pinned comment down there. Right now, they're doing a free TTCF share with a $100 deposit. And TTCF might be a whole lot higher in the future than it is today. So definitely check out that pinned comment down there. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Much love and have a great day.